it wasn't until I worked on Bolden back in 08.
2008. Yeah.
The first iteration that
Yeah.
no one will ever see.
Yeah. The one with Anthony Mackie.
Yeah, the one with Anthony Mackie and Viola Davis.
Yep.
And when she was nobody.
Yeah, I had a great interaction with Viola Davis. She was in Knights and Rodanthe, the Nicholas Sparks movie, and she was so sweet to everyone.
Was super.
And I'll tell you what, man, like all her success, every time I see her win an award or I see a performance where she just knocks it out of the park, I'm like, she deserves every bit of it. And you know what? She's so kind to everyone.
Yeah, she's
like
super kind.
Oh my God, when Viola Davis.
When we worked on that, so it's a two-parter, and I'll wrap it up real quick. But so Dan Pritzker, the director, I remember there was a scene where Viola is asking me a question, but it's not written for me to answer, and I was like, this is just because I'm a real actor, so I want it to look right and make sense. But we would do that scene, and I'm just standing there just looking at her, and I'm like, and her character was so sweet and nice, and I'm sitting there, and I finally go to Dan, and I'm like, Dan, this is so weird. Like it almost comes off rude, and they don't have that kind of relationship. He respects her. And she asked this question, and I just look at her for a moment and never answer her. And I was like, it doesn't feel right. And he was like, do you feel like you should answer her? And I was like, yes, I feel like there should be an answer there. And he was like, well, then answer. He's like, that's what we pay you the big bucks for. And he walked off. And it was that moment where I was like, I didn't realize we had that power.
Yeah.
And
to collaborate.
I didn't realize that. I thought everyone else collaborated, and then we just did what the hell we were told.
Right, because you're day players, yeah.
Right, but I didn't realize actors are also expected to be collaborators with everything else. Now you got to study your roles, study what's going on, so you're not.
I mean, if you're cashier number two,
you're not
probably are not going to collaborate.
Right? They don't want your collaboration.
They just want you to say thank you and pack the bag.
They want to get you the hell off a set. But that, and then Viola, the sweet thing she did for me, was we were doing a scene, and my character, I was an orderly. So even though I was in a lot of scenes, my character didn't have a name. He wasn't written with a character name. And we were doing a scene, and she said, look, it's about the second or third take. She comes to me and she says, look, it's very important for an actor to have a name, or for actor's character
and not
to
be
have a name.
Orderly number two.
Right. She's like, if your character has a name, you'll get cut less. And you're more memorable when you have a name. You seem more important.
Sure.
When you have a name, she said, so in this next take, I'm going to call you by your name. And, she was like, so I'm going to say Dominic, because that became my character's name.
Okay.
Because of her in that moment.
Wow.
When she said, and she offered that. She had much more experience than I did at that time. So I didn't know, but it was a really sweet gesture. And she was like, I want you to get all your just dues. She's like, so I'm going to call you by your name in this next shot so that your character, they'll have to credit you as Dominic, and in the credits and whatnot. And I was like, okay, cool. I'm with it.
Yeah.
But that was a sweet thing that she didn't have to do. But she was just thinking of everyone, not just about herself.
Yeah.
She was thinking of the actors she was also working with. And then a younger actor at the time who was trying to come up. And she was like, I'm going to throw you this one little bone.
You better run with it.
Right. But these are little ways you can help do it. But what it did was teach me to do the same. Terrence Howard did the same thing for me. Now, it got cut, but it ended up on the cutting room floor in Idlewild. We shot Idlewild, and I had a line. I was doing mostly I was like the utility guy. I was a featured extra.
Yeah.
I was Bill Nunn's stunt double.
Okay.
I was all kind of shit on that movie, right? And so I had one line in the movie, and there's a scene where the character's name was Rooster, Big Boy's character, and he's running around. Terrence Howard's playing the bad guy. He's chasing after him, and he runs into the club. So Terrence Howard's character comes to the club, and he bangs on the door, and I open the door, and he looks at me and he goes, "Where's Rooster?" And then I give him my line, and then he's supposed to just push past me and go running through the club looking for him. But same thing on one of the takes, he was like, "Look." He was like, "How good are you at improv?" And I was like, I'm pretty good. It's kind of my strong suit." He was like, "Look, on this next one, I'm just going to keep going and you flow with it, okay? Before I push off. So
okay.
we'll get in about 3 or 4 more lines for you, and then I'll push past you and go looking for them. He said, that way we know they're not going to cut it all, so you'll make it into the movie. And at the time, I was like, what do you mean? I got the role. Why would I not make it into the movie?
Right.
So, but I learned, after that, and I know now, these smaller roles, you can end up on the cutting room floor.
Yeah.
And he was like, so do these lines. And he's one of the leads. So he's like, they're not going to cut all of this. So this is how we make sure you end up in the movie.
Well, that's going to bat for you, man. I mean,
right.
Yeah.
And they still end up cutting it. But so when you see the movie now, he's like, where's Rooster? And then I go, and it cuts to the audience. But it wasn't him.
But he made that effort.
Right. But it taught me.
Yeah.
So now I do the same because I had people like that in my life who were in much higher positions and still showing that care and giving that handout, to help you out.